Hello everybody, welcome to the Ghost Racing Network here live for the Manny Rays NOMA Truck Series, making our second stop here on the season. Back in, well, not really back, but the first time to Hollywood, California. Last time we were here last season in the playoffs, and it did not disappoint, and you better believe it's not going to disappoint tonight. If you're just tuning in, appreciate you being here. You are watching Austin Green, of course. Let's jump in, get right into your race info here. Excuse the Talladega 60, looks like that did not get updated, and sure enough, spent the whole day. Either way, it's going to be the SPINO 250 here tonight, the NOMA Truck Series. 100 laps around this place. Everybody's going to have 70% fuel, 5 sets of tires, and I think they actually upped it to 6 tonight. 1 fast repair, fixed setups, and there's going to be a stage break on lap 35. That'll be the completion of stage 1. Stage 2 going to be completed on lap 60, and I believe there are also 3 green, white checkered. Sure enough, there is to finish us off here tonight. Track temp going to be coming in at 113 degrees. D-shaped 2-mile oval is Auto Club. Very bumpy, though. Similar to Michigan, except, of course, that it is as bumpy as it is. Heavy banking speeds are going to be extremely fast here today. 73 degrees weather outside, 10% humidity, clear skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour should not affect the drivers much at all. How about the start for Grandstand Racing for this race? Going to sweep the top 3. Justin Parham takes your pole. Kenneth Redinger starts in second. Going to be Matthew Dyer third. And Grant Turner rounding out your top 4. Row 3, Matthew Fritz and William George. Row 4 is going to be Keith Prince and Mark Beverly. Richard Hurst, last week's season opener winner, starts 9th. He's got Philip Willis to his outside in 10th. Joey Hickox for Hickox Racing starts 11th. Robert Dudley in 12th. Going to be Alex Gray 13th. Jay Stinson in 14th. Sam Boutwell starts, Haas Beverly in 15th, Riley Gomes 16th. Sam Boutwell and Chase Greer make up row 9 with Blaze Richardson and Steven Hins rounding out your top 20. John Bell, John Lynch, the 2 Johns making up row 11. Tyler Dudley, Billy Davison making up row 12. Robert Morrison starts 25th. Jimmy Scamordella, also known as James, starting in 26th. Ron Fenton 27th. 28th is going to be Jeff Carl. Albert Hewins in 29th. Robert Gray rounding out your top 30. And our last truck in the field tonight for 31 trucks is going to be a Guy Bracco, the 69 truck. We got driver camps tonight, and those 2 stage breaks, they are going to keep the racing exciting. We're getting ready to wave the green flag for the first time here tonight. If you are just tuning in, get comfortable. It's going to go by pretty fast. 250 miles at Auto Club Speedway. Pace truck pulls off into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're racing in Hollywood. First lap completed, going to go to Kenneth Redinger in the 24 truck. He looks to start scooting away from the field early, but what you saw there through the static cams was what we are going to see all night, and that is 3, 4, who knows, maybe even 5 wide at some point. Would not be surprised. You got a lot of grooves here to make work at Auto Club, and they are all fast early. Once we get later into the race, though, tires do matter, so you got to kind of play that 50-50 game. Don't want to overheat your tires, but at the same time, you got to try to keep as much track position as possible. They are still 2 and 3 wide here, back in the middle of the pack, though. There goes the 2 of Steven Hins, the 81 of Alex Gray, just behind him on the inside. The 90 of John Lynch was having a great run last week. He sits up in the top line. Joey Hickox just behind these guys. And here's one of the 3 wide battles right now. This is the battle for 20th position. Sam Boutwell on the inside, John Bell in the middle, and up top, it's the 18 truck of Blaze Richardson. Tyler Dudley watching these guys try to sort it out. Boutwell still on the inside, but he's just fading that outside, gets all the momentum on the straightaways. Justin Parham, one of the Grandstand Racing teammates, he now looks to the inside of the 7. Grant Turner, you know Kenneth wants to keep the clean air, got the best track position right now, so he's going to try to hold off William George as long as he can. I think Justin Parham and Matthew Dyer are trying to kind of play that happy medium of saving the tire right now while not losing too much track position, but I don't know for Justin, because you can see he's down here. He continues to try to make it work. Heard from a couple guys in pre-race, they said they were a little bit worried here about the Grandstand Racing teammates, felt like they were really strong here. And they're showing that right away. Kenneth had a good run at a couple points during Daytona last week, but involved in some wrecks and some shuffle-ups. Wasn't quite able to find himself in victory lane, but I would not be surprised if we see him with, heck, a handful or more wins by the end of the season. Now, of course, last time that we were here at Auto Club, it was a night race. Here in the daytime, it's going to be a little bit slicker. We talked about the weather outside. Track temp over 100, currently at 112. And sim time, it's pretty fast here right now, and we are sitting about 3 o'clock. So the day will progress. We'll see if the track has time to cool down or not. Clear skies, plenty of sun, but that track temp, it's not the hottest that we're going to probably see for a track temp this season, but it's certainly hot enough to where it's going to affect these guys a little bit, especially on the older tires. But I'm really shocked at how long Justin Parham continues to make the bottom work by himself. I figured he would have either faded or got the position by now, but he continues to stay where he's at. Big slide there for Kenneth Redinger as he washed up the track in front of William George, who has a rockin' paint scheme here tonight, the 96 machine. Grant Turner up here now finds himself in the podium position, was all but in winning position last weekend. Thought he was going to get it. All of a sudden gets turned down the short chin of the tribal. Doesn't get the win. Had a great run nonetheless. One of the drivers carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Another guy that's carrying an onboard for us tonight is, of course, last week's winner, and that is Richard Hurst. Boy, we talked about, he gave probably one of the best interviews that, in my opinion, you will ever get from a guy. He was absolutely ecstatic to win. You could hear it in his voice. I think he had a couple energy drinks just during the interview. He had a phenomenal run that whole race. At the end, sometimes you got to have luck. He got a little bit of luck. Things worked out, and he got his first win. This week, he's in the new paint scheme, looking to see if he could go back-to-back to start off the season. See if he can pull away maybe in the points battle. So your top five already: Kenneth Redinger, William George, Grant Turner, Justin Parham, Matthew Fritz. Joey Hickox has crashed. Yellow flag is out. 3 truck. Went around off of turn 2. First caution of the night falls on lap 7. Not quite a third of the way to stage 1. Waiting for Joey to come around here. Doesn't look like there's any damage. If there is, it certainly can't be much. Whatever the case was, he got away pretty unscathed, but let's go back and take a look at what happens to the 3 truck here so early. Yep, sure enough, goes around here. Does he lose it all by himself, though, or does he get a little help? Oh, no, there's going to be another truck involved in this, actually, the 9 truck. For who that is, that's going to be Riley Gomes on the outside line, and does he actually get loose? Let's see. Coming up on another truck from behind. Yeah, he gets loose. And he was just about to save it, but just ran out of room as Joey Hickox was down there. I think if he had another lane, he would have had enough room to drive completely out of it. But just ran out of time and ran out of room. And watch it here. Gets loose, coming down. Boom, there's the shot to Joey Hickox. Sends the 9 truck around. He's able to save it, continue on. But there's the spin for Joey Hickox, who unfortunately was not quite able to hold on. But again, didn't get any damage. The only thing that he's going to really lose out of all this is his track position, of course. But he did get the caution, so he doesn't have to worry about risking going a lap down or anything. He's the cockpit view. Looks like Joey right now after that is back in 30th position. Keith Prince must have had issues. He is not on the lead lap right now. In fact, he's back in 31st position, and I'm wondering if he's 1 or 2 laps down. He's 3 laps down. I take it back. See it on the left side of your scoring tower there. He's going to need quite a few cautions here, and quick hurry. As other guys go a lap down, that's going to be harder to get any of those laps back. We'll have to see how it pans out. John Bell being scored as your leader. Guy Bracco in 2nd. Looks like Philip Willis in 3rd. Kenneth Redinger now back to 4th. Justin Parham 5th. William George in 6th. And, you know, I feel like in general, this would be kind of early to see all these guys come into the pits But considering that everybody has, and I believe again it was 6 tires. I know I had 5 on the pre-race, but that had got updated. And yeah, it looks like it's showing that everybody had 6 tires. So you got plenty of tires, and Auto Club, it's definitely a cheese grater on the tires. If you got them, you might as well use them. And you figure you could use 1 or 2 per stage, and you'll still have enough. Yeah, sure enough, you could use 2 per stage, and you'd be good to go. I think any laps run after probably 5 laps, you have to have it in the back of your mind about pitting, especially if you have the tires to do so. Now, if we start to get a lot of cautions and track position becomes more important, maybe that's the time where we see less and less guys think about doing that strategy. A couple new guys carrying a driver cam for us here tonight. One of them is going to be Steven Hins. He is back in 20th position. No positive or negative gain for him right now. There he is, sitting in the driver's seat, getting ready for the first restart of the night. John Lynch had a cam for us last week. He's got one again this week. Looks like he's going to come back down the pits. And again, at 70% fuel, you got to wonder, is that maybe playing a factor in some of these guys just coming in to top off? There's John right there. Got the SPINO Racing sticker on the wheel. Of course, SPINO, one of the new sponsors this season, but one of the big teams. Only 2 guys, but they showed last week that they are out here to play. And I think they're going to have a good, solid season. Maybe one of those teams that's going to be up there fighting with Grandstand Racing. Of course, we saw being so dominant last season. Thank you, everybody that's tuning in. It looks like we're up to 19 viewers. Top 3 super chatters got updated from last time. Josh Oshevsky was on there. Richard Elliott as well. And we had a newer person on there. I'm trying to remember who exactly it was. It was from one of the last couple streams. It was McClendon. I'm trying to remember the first name of who it was. I think it was Tucker McClendon. Yep, sure enough. Albert Hewins, last week had a little bit of a run-in with his teammate Joey Hickox. I don't think those two were necessarily too happy with each other right after, but I'm sure they talked it out and they're back ready to see if they can improve on it this week. He's got a pretty gnarly paint scheme. The Manny Rays sponsorship. Hickox Racing driver. Of course, he is the new guy on the block this year on that team. Looking to have a better season, that's for sure. All right, Pace Truck's going to pull off back into the Geico restart zone for the second time tonight. Green flag is back in the air for John Bell, who gets off to the races early. He's going to beat Guy Bracco through the gears. 69 trying to make a comeback. We'll see how hard these guys all decide to fight this time. Seems like those first 2 laps, that's where you really have all the opportunity to make up all that track position. And Kenneth Redinger on the fresh tires says, I'm coming through. Looking to the outside, back to the inside. He's got any lane he wants. He's going to decide to go with the inside here. Looking to fan out down the backstretch. The 69 truck falling back pretty quick. Matthew Fritz coming through here. Chase Greer, Justin Parham, the 2 other trucks on the bottom. And it's turning into a logjam up top. Looks like William George, he's thinking about going up a lane higher to find a way around this 44 truck, but they're all trying to find a way around the 5 truck. John Bell, who got up into the wall, is going to throw a little bit of a block now as he comes back down. These guys still trying to find a way around, and if you're the 5 truck right now, your strategy is all about trying to lose the least amount of track positions possible. And I got to think he's probably hoping for another caution here pretty soon. Oh, we got a spinner, the 96. William George up to the wall. Big hit for Matthew Dyer. The 15 of Dudley's involved. A couple more going to slide in. Second caution of the night. And that was a big one for Matthew Dyer. And that truck is going to definitely need that one fast spare tonight. Suspension's destroyed. Front bumper's gone. Hood's barely hanging on. He's got smoke coming out the back. Tough hit. Not sure how this started, but I know that the first truck spinning was, of course, William George. Is there going to be some contact? Oh, actually on the bottom. Watch Matthew Dyer here. The bottom line is, I think he's going to get some help. I'm trying to figure out who the truck is right behind him. That looks like that's going to be one of the Beverleys. 13 truck. Yep, sure enough. That's going to be Mark Beverly. And watch. I think he does the 20. It's hard to say if there was contact. Once the 28 gets up the track, though, there's the contact with the 96. 28 gets tagged in the back. That sends him up the track. Takes the hard shot into the outside wall. Chase Greer and the 15 truck as well both make contact with him. We're trying to figure out here if there was any actual contact. Back it up a little bit for you here. I don't think there was. Watch it real close. No, it looks like Dyer initially had got loose. The question was all just a matter of was there contact after that. Let's go to Mark's perspective here. Watch the front nose of this truck here. He's going to get really, really close. Does he ever hit him, though? Matthew Dyer did have a checkup. I just don't think he ever hits him. You know, I got to wonder if there's maybe a slight bit of net code involved there, because it just doesn't look like he ever hits him from any of the views that we've seen so far. See if the blimp cam clears it up for clears anything up for us. You see he gets really close. Now, the 28 was out of the gas. Man, if he touches him, it is just ever so slight contact. And then watch, little overcorrection right there for Matthew Dyer. That's all it takes. Sends him up the track into the 96, and they all wreck after that. A couple more guys sliding in on the bottom. Looks like the 88 truck might have been involved. One more shot of it here from the TV static cam. Watch this hit for the 28 truck of Matthew Dyer. Overcorrection, gets a shot in the back from the 49, and bam. Chase Greer, not sure how bad his damage is. Looked like it was on the right front. Matthew Dyer, sure enough, has used his fast repair. I don't think he lost any laps. Meanwhile, up front, Kenneth Rittinger, did not take him long to get back to the lead. Grant Turner in second. Justin Parham third. Philip Willis in fourth. Mark Beverly fifth. About Matthew Fritz in sixth. Stephen Hins in seventh. Haas Beverly eighth. James Scamordella in ninth. And John Lynch rounding out your top 10. Looking for the one to go signal right here. 15 laps in. Not quite halfway through stage one just yet, but almost. Good run early for Matthew Fritz. He is currently the highest running Hickox racing driver. Grandstand Racing has positions 1 and 2 swept. They would have had probably 1, 2, 3 if Matthew Dyer wasn't involved in that incident, but I think he'll find a way to get back up here before this race is over, especially with those 2 stage cautions. And I'll tell you what, as a driver, I love the idea of stage cautions. I really do. I like the idea of being able to get out there, run your truck hard. It throws different strategies in. I mean, if it's just a long race, you're pretty much practicing and setting yourself up for a long run, consistent long runs. But with the stages, it's a mix, right? You know, it's kind of a little bit of a shorter run in the sense of stage 2 will be the shorter stage, but stage 1, it's kind of a long run to start, but then we get a caution, and then all of a sudden it turns into a short run. After about halfway through the stage, you can run a little bit harder, get a little bit more racy, but you still have the long run implemented in, let's say, the last stage where we're going to run probably 35 laps or so, similar to what we're seeing here in the first stage. Definitely thinks it always kept it more fun as a driver. Looks like NOMA TV was in here earlier, says, "What's up, race fans?" Raymond Daniels watching tonight says, "Let's go racing." And Nancy Hickok says, "Great camera views, Austin." Well, thank you, Nancy. Glad you're enjoying it. Sure you weren't too happy to see Joey involved in that last one, but I'm sure he will make his way back up here. And he kind of already has, just in front of his teammate there, Jay. Jay in the 31 this season. Joey switched to the 3. And he is on the outside of row 7, so we'll see what he can do. You can make up a lot of positions on these restarts. Here we go, back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Good jump for the 24 of Kenneth Rittinger. We'll see if he jumps up. Almost looked like a couple guys had a little bit of tire spin. Don't think that should really be an issue, though, here at Auto Club. Shooting down into turn 1, Justin Parham's trying to get clear for that second position over Grant Turner. Looks like he's going to do so. Now the 7, though, fighting back up top. He's just trying to get the left front there. Can't do it. 19 makes a little bit of a block. 7 gives him a shove out back. It is a scramble for position here. There's John Lynch in the middle. Looks like James Scamordella. And the outside of both of them was Richard Hurst. They get it sorted out back to 2 wide. Joey Hickok ripping the top. Ooh, Chase Greer, you saw from that view real quick. He looked really, really loose. And look how tight things are getting. Joey continues to march his way around the outside. It's the fastest way around the track. The higher you run, the more momentum you're going to carry. And it's definitely faster up there in the turns as well. The problem is you're burning up a little bit more tire over time. And, of course, the longer you run up there, oh, man, that was a close call out back. Oh, my goodness, the 13 truck almost lost it there. I think that might have been Robert Dudley is just to the inside of a couple of these guys. Going up a little bit further. They single file out pretty quickly throughout about the top 5 as of so far tonight. But once you get into the teens and the 20s, they do not want to get organized anytime soon. They continue to battle it out. Cautions out again, 3rd time here tonight. We got one in the fence on the straightaway, on the front straightaway. That's Keith Prince. Matthew Dyer looks like he was able to stop before this. What has happened here? Don't see any damage yet for the 03. This is on the front stretch. Oh, there's going to be, looks like a truck wrecking in front of these guys. See if we can see it from the blimp cam. And yeah, there was smoke ahead. Keith Prince was just trying to avoid it. And I think that actually was the 28 of Matthew Dyer. It was. So he's involved in a second incident here just after he got his truck cleaned up from that first one. And this one's going to involve the 9 and somebody else. That's Riley Gomes. Oh, they were 3 wide with the 13 as well. And you probably can take a good guess what's going to happen here. Somebody coming down or somebody coming up. 13 truck coming down. Makes contact into the 81 of Alex Gray, who gets down into the 9 truck. That sends him up the track. The 15 of Tyler Dudley. Nowhere to go. T-bones him. That sends him down. And here's Matthew Dyer trying to avoid, but fortunately there's just nowhere to go for him either. He's going to make some slight contact. Gets T-bone in the left rear from Chase Greer. And then the 03 of Keith Prince got tagged as well as he went for a bit of a slide. Watch it from the chopper view, and it definitely looked like from that angle that just 13 came down. Not sure if he didn't realize they were 3 wide or if he was just a little bit loose off the corner. But yeah, when you're 3 wide at a track like Auto Club, there's plenty of room, but yeah, 13 just comes down. Looked like he may have gotten a little high, had to crank the wheel to the left a little bit more. That'll get the truck off balance, get it loose, and man, a couple of those guys just, and I mean just shot through there. That was a close call. One more view of it. And there's Keith Prince getting tagged. He takes a shot to the front end. Hard to say if he'll have to use a fast repair or not. He is on the pits, though. Remember, everybody only gets 1 fast repair. And if you have to use a fast repair, I would say any time before the halfway point in the race, it tends to make it a little bit of a miserable race for you as you have to play your cards a lot more careful the rest of the way. Kenneth Rittinger still first. Excuse me, man, I cannot find the words here tonight. His teammate Justin Parham still in 2nd. Grant Turner 3rd. Mark Beverly 4th. Matthew Fritz rounding out your top 5. Stephen Hins in 6th. John Lynch 7th. Richard Hurst 8th. Blaze Richardson 9th. And Haas Beverly rounding out your top 10. Couple guys just outside looking in. There's James Scamardella, Sam Boutwell. Sam on one of the new teams this season, Wally. One of the guys that we saw make his way into the playoffs last season. Couldn't make it as far as the Final 4, but just get yourself into the playoffs for the big of the fields as we normally see here for the NOMA Truck Series is plenty impressive in itself, right? I mean, hey. Talking about the schedule that we're heading to a couple of the races after this, I believe next week is Nashville Super Speedway. And I believe I actually heard tonight, I didn't realize this, but it's an off week after that. And taking a look at it, yeah, sure enough, go ahead and pop up the schedule here real quick. Yeah, we head to Nashville Super Speedway next week, and then it's an off week. Week after that is Pocono. I will not be here for that one, but of course it will still be broadcasted. Have more information on that soon. And then it's Legacy Atlanta. You talk about one of the really tricky races throughout the season that guys have to put a lot of practice in if you want to be good. That's one of those. Legacy Atlanta, it's fast, but it is slick. And it is very, very abrasive on the tires. Miami and Kentucky follow after that before another off week. And then we head to 3 really, really fast tracks. Indy, Talladega, and Charlotte for the All-Star race. All going to be exciting ones. The All-Star race about mid-October. And the final race before we head into the playoffs. Couple changes with the schedule this season. I know we've mentioned it a couple times, but I really enjoy them. I think it's going to be some really good racing. Auto Club is one of my favorite tracks. I got to be honest, I think the racing at Auto Club might be a little bit better than Michigan at times, especially when you add in the factor of tire fall off. Feels like it's the same as Michigan, except that the tires do fall off a little bit quicker. If we do see a long run, I got to believe that the Grandstand Racing drivers are going to prevail. I know they were in here practicing early as soon as the session opened up. They might have been the guys that got the most practice with the long runs. Pace truck's going to pull off. Now we're starting to close in a little bit here on the end of stage one. Still going to have 14 laps to go when we take the green flag right here. The teammates Parham and Redinger on row one. Row two is going to be Grant Turner and Mark Beverly. Another good jump here for Kenneth Redinger. He looks to pull away Justin Parham side by side with Mark Beverly. Big stack up out back. Ooh, that's trouble. Oh, and now we're going to have one get into the grass. Guy Bracco, I think he got tagged. Does he save it? He does. Onto the apron he goes. That was a tough break for Guy. Yeah, he does get back on track, but he's going to lose a ton of position, probably the draft as well. Joey Hickox 3 wide in the middle of John Bell. He's got a truck to his inside. I believe that's Phillip Willis. No, it's not. Phillips to his outside, actually. That's the 33 truck of Robert Gray. Up front, they already single-filed out. A couple double-file rows behind them. Ooh, the 44 truck's in the wall, coming down. Save it, save it. He does. 49 back to the middle. The 96 of William George has to go to the bottom to avoid it. Albert Hewins checks up as well. Man, tonight it seems like you do not want to get caught back in traffic. It gets really sketchy really quick. My goodness, up front we got a little bit of a battle for the lead here. The 7 of Grant Turner. He wants the lead. He's looking to see if he can get to the inside. Justin Parham, though, gives his teammate a push down the long back straightaway. Kenneth Redinger right back to the lead, and if you're Grant Turner, that's got to be making your situation really difficult right now. He knows he might have a truck fast enough to do it, but he's going to have to find a way to get these teammates separated. Mark Beverly now on his back bumper, and the drafts that these guys get down the front stretch is pretty insane. Watch the speeds here as we get down up to turn one. Grant Turner pulling the big draft, 183. Justin Parham got up to about 186 just before they got down into turn one, and you see Parham running, I would say, about a lane lower right now. Everybody wants to stay to that top line, but you got to get a little bit of clean air on the front nose of the truck, or it's just not really going to turn. You're going to wear out those Goodyears that much quicker. Ooh, Justin's getting really close to his teammate. You can tell these guys are starting to figure the track out more and more. There's the two SPINO Racing teammates, John Lynch and Richard Hurst. Lynch looking to the inside. Richard, will he drop down to try to give his teammate a little bit of a push? Important to note, you can use the apron down here at Auto Club. You see it on the front straightaway. In real life, it used to be a viable option down in turns 3 and 4. It seems like on iRacing that doesn't work too well, as the inside in general isn't usually too favored. But on the front stretch, there's a lot of room. You can make up some time if you drop to the bottom, especially if you have a run and a guy to push you with that run. But in general, everybody likes to stay single file up at the top of the track. 3 wide back here, and ooh, the 5 of John Bell into the wall. That was the battle for 12th position. John Bell was able to hold on even after touching the wall. Looks like Joey's going to try to get behind him and give him a little bit of a push. Joey thinking about which lane he wants to choose here. They're still 3 wide. Ooh, it got really tight into turn 1. John Bell's going to stay up top in the middle. It's the 12 truck of Haas Beverly. And on the bottom, the 33 of Robert Gray. These guys still trying to get it figured out. Eventually, the top continues to prevail. Joey was able to give him a push. And Hickox Racing struggling, I would say, a little bit here early. You know, we expect to see Joey and Jay more up front than they are, but I know Jay said he didn't really get time to practice, so he's going to have to learn as he goes. Meanwhile, the 13 truck of Mark Beverly made his way up to the battle, and we got about 5 trucks that you could throw under a blanket and more coming soon. This is that draft that just keeps everybody nice and tight up near the front. Eventually, the effects of that draft, they will fade. That's why it's so important for these two teammates up front to try to keep that track position. And I think if they keep running top of the track, it's just going to be really, really difficult for anybody to get past them. Grant Turner does have a pedal cam for us here tonight. Take a look here. Slight on the brake, back down, hammers the throttle. Watch him here. He's just going to lean off the brake on the straightaway, full throttle. Now watch the brake here. It's not a lot. You just kind of tap it a little bit here as we get down into turn 1. In fact, we'll show you the dashboard right after we put the cam away, but watch as he gets down into the turn. Just a little bit of a lift, kind of pedals it a little bit. Actually doesn't use any brake right now through 1 and 2, and he might not be using any in 3 and 4 unless he has to, but there's the trace back on full throttle. And the more laps that go by, everybody's still in the draft, but you can see there's just not as much passing. Mark Beverly looks back to the inside. Grant Turner thought about throwing a block. Had to think better of it. Jumps right back up to the top. And, oh, is he going to actually get this position? He did commit to the inside. We saw him take that position after Grant Turner tried to block. It didn't work out. He was able to stick to the inside. He almost got clear right there of Justin Parham. Couldn't quite do it. And it looks like as John Bell had an issue. He has. Lost Beverly off in the pits. There's John Bell. Yeah, these two have definitely had an issue. What has gone wrong here? This is on the front stretch. On lap 29. Here we go. Oh, there's contact between the 12 truck. That sends him to pit road. It was Haas Beverly and the 5 of John Bell who gets in the grass. He's able to get back on track. Did not bring the caution out, so we do stay green. Both of those guys are going to be okay if they can just survive until we get the stage caution. And sure enough, during that little break, Mark Beverly, you just saw it right there, slides up in front of Justin Parham. And he knows with 5 laps to go, he doesn't have to worry about doing too much tire saving right here. He wants to get the stage win. Gonna have to think about a way to do it. Slide job is certainly an option here. Just keep working on him. If he doesn't make a mistake, I definitely look to see Mark try that slide job. Gotta set yourself up, get a big run down one of the straightaways. And when you're entering turn 1 or turn 3, that's where you're gonna set it up. He would dive all the way to the bottom of the track. Try to get clear and then slide up in front of the 24. Let's see if he decides to do it. Watch the run that he gets on this front stretch. Slowly working up. Slowly working up. Going to close it up probably about a tenth or two. Not close enough this time to make the move, so he's going to back off, try to reset himself up to get another run here down the backstretch. 5 laps to go left here in stage 1. Looking out his rearview mirror, he sees the 29 of Matthew Fritz. Looking to the inside of Justin Parham. There's the 7 of Grant Turner. Those are a couple of guys that maybe used their tires up just a little too early. You got to assume that Kenneth would be the next guy in line to get a win, at least based off what we saw from him last season. Good at the super speedways, but when it comes to the tracks that there's a little bit less luck involved, such as Auto Club, you know he's going to be one of the favorites. And so far here tonight, he has easily led the most laps, led just about all of them. Mark Beverly just continues to track the footsteps. Late run here, late charge rather, from Matthew Fritz, though. Does he have enough time to get up here and contend with these two? Everybody else starting to fall back just a little bit. Justin Parham and Grant Turner maybe use their tires up a little bit more than they wanted. There's a 3-wide pass on the bottom for Robert Gray. He's going to be able to get clear. He's going to try the slide job for Joey Hickox, and he makes it stick. Man, I'll tell you what, Joey may not have been too happy about that. He had to lift big time. But the move works out for the 33, and is Joey going to take him low? He's got the 18 of Blaze Richardson with a run. No move there, but we do have a move for the lead. Here goes Mark Beverly to the inside. Is he going to try the slide job? Arcs it way down. Kenneth trying to keep the power down up top. 13 trying. Wow, what a power move from Mark Beverly. Kenneth Redinger has another big run, but is it going to be enough to make another crossover move here? I cannot believe he had the speed to make that work even on exit. Now Kenneth is going to try a little bit of a slide job here. Beverly's trying to hold him down, couldn't quite get there, and sure enough, Kenneth is going to take the lead back. Do we see another crossover here on the front strap? This is great racing right here, coming to 2 laps to go in stage 1. Mark looked to the inside. Kenneth thought about a block, couldn't quite get there in time. And they just continue to trade crossovers. Watch for Kenneth to either back up the corner. No, he's going to try to put it on his door here so that he can't get clear this time. Kenneth had to really bail out of the throttle. The 13 not able to get clear that time. Seems like that move worked a lot better for the 24. Matthew Fritz, he's got a run here. Does he think about taking it 3 wide on either of these guys? And I know if you're Fritz, you have either option. I like the idea here of either going 3 wide or with the 13. You know how strong the 24 is. You don't want to give him any extra momentum here if you don't have to. The 13 is still working the bottom, trying to get clear. Can't do it. He's going to dive down to the apron. 1 lap to go in stage 1. Watch out. Matthew Fritz still right behind these two. If either one of them slip up, he is going to be there to steal the stage. Kenneth back down on the door. You can tell the bottom's starting to get a lot harder to hold for Mark Beverly. Last gas here, a backstretch and 1 more set of corners to go to determine who is going to get it. Matthew Fritz looks like he's not going to quite have enough momentum. Does he have 1 more move to try here through 3 and 4? I like the idea of taking the top here. I think Kenneth is going to hold it down extra low. Sure enough, Mark Beverly, 1 more try here. He's got a nose out in front now. He's going to have to try to slide up here on the 24, almost some contact. That means Kenneth has to wash up the track. They're going to side draft door to door. Matthew Fritz down the bottom. It's not going to be enough at the line. Who gets it? It is going to be Kenneth Redinger. What a finish. And man, if we get to see a race like that at the end of this thing, we're in for quite a treat here. Let's go back and take a look at coming to the finish here. That was phenomenal. Matthew Fritz tried to make the move on the bottom. I think he might have been just a little too early on it. Couldn't quite get there. There might have been slight contact there. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, Beverly had that all but at the line. Wow, was that close. Oh man, I can't tell. It showed Redinger caught it. And you'll see at this point, looks like Beverly is actually back out in front, but he just couldn't quite hold it. Trying to see if we have a better view of it here for you. It looks like TV1 is going to be our best friend right here. Right here, looks like the 13's got a nose out in front, but the 24 carrying that run from the top side. Yeah, sure enough, Kenneth just barely beats him to the line. That's probably going to be one of the closest stage finishes that we are going to have of the season right there, and only the 2nd race. That was fun to watch, but Kenneth gets the job done. See if we can pull in the 24 for a quick interview after getting a stage win. Hey, Kenneth, this is Austin at the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, that battle between you and Mark Beverly at the end of stage 1 was phenomenal to watch. How'd you feel about it?
That was pretty good. I think I've used up my tires a little too much there in the front. Looks like he was tagging along and kind of saved some tires, so he was able to get to my door, but it's pretty good battle there.
Well, now stage 2 here is a little different. We know it's going to be a lot shorter, probably about 10 laps shorter. What's kind of that go point of how long you save tires and at the same time trying to maintain the track position? How do you go about doing that?
I don't know. I'm probably not the best one to ask that. I'm just going to run the tire sets out and try to get the most out of the whole set. So
I'll tell you what, considering you are our season champion last season, I disagree with you're not the best one to ask about that. You clearly know how to get the job done out here. Been fun to watch tonight. We'll see if you can lead the rest of these things and maybe get a win here tonight.
Hey, thank you.
Kenneth Redinger, and I'll tell you what, we know he's one of the best of the best, and when you hear one of the best be kind of excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, in that interview, he sounded happy about it, and that usually tells you just how good the racing was. As a driver, man, whether you win the stage break or not, in terms of, let's use Mark Beverly as an example, when you get a race like that coming to the line, you can't help but smile, win or lose. That's what these guys are out here to do. And that is what the NOMA Truck Series showcases. Looks like Nancy Hickok says, go Matthew. That was fun to watch. Raymond Daniels, hope you had a good birthday on Monday. What the heck, Raymond? You got to let us know these sort of things. Happy belated birthday. Sorry that we missed out. Glad you're in here watching tonight. And again, happy belated birthday to the Manny Rays, key sponsor here to NOMA Truck Series, title sponsor. I know NOMA can't say enough about how much you've done for them, and on behalf of them, we always appreciate the support. Looking forward towards another great season, rather. Looking to see if we're going to get the 1 to go signal this time. We mentioned stage 2 caution is going to fly at the end of lap 60, and these guys looking like they get the 1 to go this time will go green on lap 40. Let's see. Yep, sure enough, lights are going to go off on the pace truck. So it's going to be a 26-lap shootout. No, excuse me, I lied. Ignore that. I meant to say 20-lap shootout, 21-lap shootout to the end of stage 2 right here. So I don't think there's going to be that much tire saving going on this time. I think the racing is going to be just as good as what we saw there, but maybe even a little bit sooner this time. Mark Beverly on the bottom is pushing Robert Morrison here, who's trying a little bit of strategy. We'll see how it works out. The two teammates up top, I think they're going to blow by the 43 on the outside down the backstretch, if not before then. Grant Turner and Justin Parham were the two guys that while they were up there battling, I think they used up their tires the quickest. Kenneth felt like he used up his tires a little much, but it seemed like he had enough as he was able to still hold on to the stage win. Going back a little bit further, Richard Hurst 6th, Robert Dudley 7th, Robert Gray 8th. John Lynch in 9th. Keep an eye on him. He's been running in the top 10 quite a bit. Still looking to see if he can get a little bit further towards the front. He's geared up and ready to go for the restart here. 4th caution of the night, but it is technically for a stage break. So actually we've only had 3 cautions here tonight. And we are getting close to that halfway mark here in about 10 laps. We will be past the halfway mark at the end of stage 2. And if you're just tuning in, you might want to get comfy here for a little bit. At least check it out, because the ending we had, the stage 1, was phenomenal. And I think we're going to get more of the same right here. All right, here we go. Robert Morrison, Kenneth Rininger, row 1. Back into the Geico restart zone. Stage 2 is underway at Auto Club. The 43 with some big tire spin. He is going to quickly think about jump to the top. Now back to the bottom he goes. Those old tires are not going to work out too well for too long. Up top, Kenneth Rininger. You know, the 13 of Mark Beverly. I was going to say he's going to try to force his way up to the middle. What a move from the 13. That's going to help him get some positions a little bit quicker. Man, the 43 of Robert Morrison has fallen back in a hurry. These guys are taking him 3-4 wide any way that they can get around that 43 truck. John Lynch and Robert Gray on the bottom, making a push now on the inside, trying to catch that little bit of a breakaway pack. 4-truck single file. Kenneth Rininger comes out with the lead. Mark Beverly going to line up here in 2nd. And I think these guys still got to save a little bit of tire here for probably, I would say, 5 to 10 laps. But if one guy pushes the other guy, that can make it burn things up a little bit quicker. 3 wide back here. That's William George. Looks like John Lynch and Jay Stinson. Lynch and Stinson going to get clear. The 96 is going to have to tuck up in line. Got to be careful here. Ooh, the 90 of John Lynch. He got really, really loose out of turn 2. He was able to hold on to it, but he's going to lose a couple positions. Out further in the back, here's the 12 truck. They were 3 wide for a minute, and Robert E. Morrison, I don't know what the strategy was, but it seems like it did not work out well at all for the 43 truck. He has now fallen to basically last place. Not sure if he's hoping for a caution here soon or what, but if that's the case, he's going to need one in the next probably couple laps. He could potentially be in danger of going a lap down at the pace he's running right now. Tires just fall off way too much here at Auto Club to not take him when you can get him. Jay Stinson looking to pick off a position here from Robert Gray. Tried to get clear almost. Back to the inside he goes. The 49 of Robert Dudley. Haven't talked much about him tonight. I was watching him in practice. Seemed to have a pretty strong truck. One of the Team Dudley Racing drivers, currently sitting in 5th, up 8 spots from where he started. But it's still all Kenneth Rininger. Mark Beverly sitting back a little bit. I think this is by design. We've already seen that the 13 has the speed. And Kenneth said he thought that he was just kind of sitting around in his draft a little bit, trying to save a little bit of extra tire. That's the advantage of these big 2-mile tracks, Michigan and Auto Club especially. If you're in 2nd, I know that you may not have the cleanest air, but you make up for it by utilizing that draft on the straightaways. Back it down a little bit in the turn, save just a little bit of extra tire. You can make up that 2-3 tenths lost on the straightaways here. Beverly does tuck his nose down a little bit lower, trying to get some clean air. The 49 on the bottom. Robert Dudley looking to pick off a position from the Grandstand Racing driver. Will Grant Turner decide to follow? It's like he doesn't. He stays on the top side. Not too many bottom feeders tonight. Most of these guys have been committed to the top line, and it has worked out pretty well so far. Mark Beverly was looking for the move out of turn 2, all but got clear. I think he has probably been the strongest guy that we have seen on the bottom here tonight. Most guys try the bottom, and if they don't get clear by the center of the corner, it just doesn't work. But somehow the 13 continues to find a way to make it work throughout the entire corner, including on exit, and has almost gotten cleared quite a few times. Right on board here with Kenneth Rininger. Down the front straightaway, you can see the 24 was able to get clear again. You hear a little bit of tire slide going, but it almost looked like Kenneth actually got a slight bit loose out in clean air there. You kind of try sometimes to wear out the right rears a little bit more at tracks like these, because if you don't, the truck just tends to get really tight over the long run. You certainly don't want to have to worry about that. But look at the different lines. You see Kenneth enters the corner higher, and he almost works his way down to about the 3/4 mark. But man, he really does look loose on exit. Justin Parham watching these two with a close eye. There's Robert Dudley. Was looking to the inside of Parham, couldn't make it work, and he's going to have to now jump up back in line. 15 laps left to go now in stage 2. Let's look at the lap times these guys have been running tonight. We already checked out the speeds. Mid 180s at the end of the front stretch on new tires. 41-second laps on still relatively new tires. Only 6 laps on them. We'll try to compare that to at the end. Your leader, Kenneth Redinger, running 41.2 earlier, 41.5s now. And I think him and Mark Beverly, fair to say, they're trading lap times. Yeah, sure enough, they are. Beverly ran faster 2 out of the last 5 laps. Excuse me, no. Beverly ran faster 3 of the last 5 laps. Now make it 4. Yet he can't get the lead, and that's just because Kenneth has the preferred line. The 13 has tried the bottom. You can't seem to get to the top. I'd like to see maybe the 13 truck try a fake, but he's going to continue to try to work that bottom until he gets something to work sooner or later. Alex Gray in the 81 truck sits back here in 18th position. A couple of these guys side by side. There's James Scamordella. He is in 20th position. Back here a little bit further, Keith Prince still not on the lead lap. Neither is Jeff Carl. Both of those guys had their fair share of troubles. And then we got a couple guys that are off track here already. Albert Hewins and Jeff Carl actually are the 2 guys that have retired from the race. So I retract my statement, but it does look like Keith Prince being scored 2 laps down. I think he is the only truck being scored a lap down as of right now. Got some battle a little bit further back. Jay Stinson, saw him trying to get clear of the 33 earlier, since he has fallen behind the 33 of Robert Gray. Grant Turner still on the outside. Richard Hurst just behind these two, and William George had really good short run speed. We didn't get too much of a chance to see how good that truck was in the long run after he was involved in one of the cautions, fell to the back, and it's been slowly working his way to the front. Isn't quite able to find himself inside the top 5, but he's back inside the top 10. Ooh, 76 of Richard Hurst comes down the track just a little bit, almost makes some contact there between him and Jay Stinson. Well, those two aren't teammates, they're allies, so you know that they race each other especially careful. Richard gives a big push to the back of Grant Turner. Looks like what he was doing last week at Daytona. Bump drafting. Looking back up front to your leaders. Kenneth Redinger in the 24, still in the lead, but not able to pull away. Justin Parham is still in the mix in the 49 truck. Robert Dudley, he's not going anywhere either, so you might as well throw your top 4 under a blanket. We have now officially hit the halfway mark. That also means 11 laps to go here in stage 2. That final stage, not going to be much longer of a sprint than what we saw in stage 1. But everybody still has plenty of tires left, so they're going to burn them up right here. Beverly still on the inside. Can't quite make it work just yet. Got a little crank it up here with going to be 10 laps to go. We come to line this time in stage 2. Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. Up front, nothing changed except for the lead, which I guess is quite a bit. When you think about it, out back we had trouble. The 2 truck was able to hang on. That was Steven Hins. Made some contact with the wall, added 2, almost lost it and overcorrected back to the outside wall, but he's able to hang on to keep going. But up front, Mark Beverly has taken the lead and doing a little bit of IndyCar style, breaking the draft right here from Kenneth Rittinger. Kenneth is going to follow him, but by doing so, he opens the inside up to the 49. Not quite able to make the move, though, is Robert Dudley. We saw Mark Beverly, on the other hand. He did make the move, now finds himself in the lead, and you got to wonder, did Kenneth maybe just use up his stuff a little too much here again? Out back, some double file racing, going to be coming to 6 laps to go in the stage this time around. Now, it looks like Jeff Carl did have an incident since we went back green here for stage 2. Let's take a look at what happens to the 98 truck. He's running by himself here, all good, and then all of a sudden down on the apron and I think he just parks it here. Yeah, sure enough, he does. Gets down to the apron, comes to a stop, and ends his night there. Not sure what exactly happened, but that's a tough break for Jeff Carl. Kenneth Rittinger, though, still not going away, but now he's got his hands full with the 49. Look to the inside, and how about the late charge this stage, but from Robert Gray in the 33 truck. He's going to jump to the outside of the 49, looking for 3rd. Top 10, that's where you're looking at finishing the stage. The other place you're looking to finish in the stage, of course, is in that first position. Get the win, get any extra points that you can get. Mark loves what he's seeing in his mirror. The harder these guys battle, the easier it's going to be for him to pull away. Has the gap up to about 3/10, but a big run here from the 33 truck on the back bumper of Kenneth Rittinger. That's going to close that gap up all the way back down to only 2 truck lengths. And Beverly running the lower line here. It actually seems to be working a little bit better. Seems like if you have the tires to do it for a short period of time, the bottom might be preferred, at least for some guys. Kenneth right now is taking a bunch of notes, putting them all down in his notebook, saying, what do I need to change here for the final stage? And in Mark Beverly's case, he lost that first stage just barely. You know, he was hungry for the second one. And having the lead for that 3rd and final stage is very important. That's what he wants to get. Robert Gray now to the inside of Kenneth Rittinger. These 2 side by side. The 24's got the momentum. He's going to try to get back clear. Not quite able to do so just yet. The 33 hanging strong on the bottom. 4 laps to go in the stage. Going to be coming to 3 next time around. Looking at some of the other battles that we have left on track. Matthew Fritz currently sits in the 19th position. But we got a truck on the apron. That's the 40 of Trace Greer. Not sure if he's just coming out of the pits or what the deal is. Richard Hurst in the 76, currently in 6th position. The top 4 all kind of pulled away a little bit from the rest of the field by about a second. 5th place runner right now, Jay Stinson. Good comeback for him this stage. He may have found some speed here that he's looking to use in that 3rd and final stage. 3 laps to go in stage 1. Who is going to win it? Just as Mark Beverly thinks he's starting to pull away, even with these 2 behind him racing side by side, they are still able to stay within half a second's reach. In fact, it is under 0.3 of a second right now. The racing that we have seen so far at Auto Club tonight has just, I would say, smoked the racing we saw last year during the night race. And I'm surprised. I thought with the hotter track temp, it would be a little bit harder for these side-by-side battles. However, the track temp has continued to cool off. So you see the shadows starting to extend on the wall on turns 3 and 4. It is now 4, almost 5 o'clock sin time, and track temp is down to 95 degrees, it looks like. Remember, it started up at almost 120. 2 laps to go now in stage 1. Kenneth got clear. He's got the momentum. Big run right here for the 24. Can Beverly cover it? Watch the 24 down the backstretch. He is going to close up right to the back bumper. He's got the run. He's looking. Does he think about making the dive here? Does he stay patient? All the way up to the back bumper. Looks like he is going to make the dive. To the inside goes Kenneth Rittinger. Has to hold off the 33 of Robert Gray. Moves down a lane lower. Mark Beverly still on the outside. Those 2 are going to make some contact. Slides up. Now the 33 is going to take up 3 wide here on the front stretch. 1 lap to go in stage 2. Who's going to get it? 3 wide. Mark Beverly up top has the momentum. The 33 all but got clear. He's going to have to check up and bail out of it. No, he's able to stay in it. Somebody's going to have to give here. Who's it going to be? It's the 33 of Robert Gray. Redinger and Mark Beverly still side by side. The 33 is looking low. Who's the 49 going to give a push to? He can't decide either. He's going to look 3 wide now, this time down into turn 3. Couldn't quite make it work. Has to tuck in line back behind the 24. This is going to be all who has more help. Who's got more momentum down the front stretch. Redinger's going to get a nose back out in front. Got to be careful. Can't slide up into Beverly. He does it, but what he does do is get clear. Now to 13. He's got one more run. Big push. Is it enough? It's not going to be enough. Redinger sweeps stage 1 and 2. What a win for stage 2 here for Kenneth Redinger. My goodness. And we're going to need a breather after that one. That was absolutely incredible. I did not think the 24 would be able to pull it off through 3 and 4, but he did. And look at this coming out of turn 4 all the way to the line. This was phenomenal. The 49 was able to get back to the 13 truck right here. In fact, I thought he gave him a little bit of a push. You see Mark looking for the side draft, but he just ran out of time. And that is how Kenneth Redinger is able to get your stage 2 win. Man, these guys have been putting on a phenomenal show so far. And we still have 35 or more laps of action left. I'll tell you what, we are going to go take a break. When we come back, we're going to see if we can get a word from Mark Beverly. I know he didn't get the stage win, but man, he has been right there in contention for it for stage 1 and 2. Talk to him when we get back. Stay with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by-request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Auto Club Speedway here in Hollywood, Fontana, California. And he didn't get the stage win, but he was darn close, got second in both of them. That is Mark Beverly. Mark, up here in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going tonight?
Good, man. Well, I'll tell you what, I was just telling you before we got back live on air, we saw a race here back in the playoffs, but what we have seen today has blown that out of the water in terms of the racing. Even throughout the run, it seems like you are still able to stay fast and competitive. How you doing it on the old tires?
I'm just trying to save a little bit in the beginning, and hopefully we got grip at the end, which seems to be holding in. I don't know if it's because it's track's kind of hot or just got a little more tackiness to it or whatnot, but it's been a lot of fun out here tonight for sure.
Well, you and Kenneth have been the class of the field so far, but of course there's been a couple other hitters up there as well now. He's just barely edged you out these last 2 stages. How are you going to be able to beat him out at the end this time?
I know I thought I was going to get him that time, and he snuck it in there, but I guess you just got to wait till the last lap because both those passes he did were last lap. So we'll see how it goes, and maybe he can put on a good show.
All right, well, lining up for the final stage here. Going to be a similar distance to what we saw in stage 1. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if you can get Asphalt Outlaw Racing their first win of the season here tonight.
Copy that. Thanks.
Sending him back down to his team, Mark Beverly. See what, we had him in here just before we came back on air, and he seemed pretty excited. And he should be. I'm excited. I'm telling you what, I wish I was down there in a truck right now. These guys look like they're having a blast tonight. It has been phenomenal to watch. This race has topped Daytona so far in my books. If you're just tuning in, again, appreciate you watching. A couple other announcements we'll go through a little bit during this final stage. One of them, though, the Super Chats. I meant to bring this up in general. Since we've started the Super Chats, they opened up about a month and a half ago. From all of you guys, we have now received over $230 worth of Super Chats through the broadcast. I mean, I could not have even imagined that. So I just want to say thank you guys all so much. I know me and Bryce appreciate it. It means the world to us that you guys appreciate us enough to leave tips here and there. And just in general, you guys watching, we appreciate you having a good time out here enjoying your Saturday with us. And we are gearing up to go green for the final stage for the NOMA Truck Series here at Auto Club Nashville Super Speedway next week. Completely different track. One of those tracks that I know some guys maybe not a big fan of. So you got to try to get the job done here. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. Redinger and Beverly, row 1. Gray and Hurst, row 2. Redinger off to a good jump. I don't think you're going to see these two go to battle too early. I think they're going to play it smart here. Try to save some tire again. As of right now, 35 laps to go. 36, excuse me, here in this final stage. I don't think we're going to see him get really racy until maybe even 15 to go. Again, 15 laps longer than what we saw last stage. And last stage, they waited about 10 laps before they started battling. Track position's definitely going to play a role in how that pans out. And of course, if we get a caution, all these guys still have probably a couple sets of tires left. Richard Hurst, Jay Stinson, Matthew Dyer, 3 guys that I'm interested in keeping my eye on here for this final stage. Jay had made some great progress towards the end of that last stage. We'll see if he can build on that for the final one. Matthew Dyer, one of the Grandstand Racing teammates. You know, he's fast here tonight. After that incident, though, it's been a fight trying to get back up here. Oh, man, he got really loose. Another close call, just as I was giving him some props. But if he can get back up here, even with that little bit of damage, I think he would certainly still be very fast with a great shot at it here tonight. Up front, the 24 truck trying to pull away, but again, I'm telling you, it's by design. Ooh, the 76 of Richard Hurst got into the outside wall. That's going to scuff up the right side just a little bit. I think he's okay. No harm, no foul. Matthew Dyer, though, is going to try to take advantage. Looks to his inside right here. We'll see if he can get clear. He's trying to make the slide job work. He does. Takes another position. Richard Hurst looking for the crossover. He is going to go for it now. Tucks back in line behind the 28. Justin Parham still inside the top 5, back in 4th. Been a good night for him. Just has not quite had the best truck. You saw Jay Stinson, the truck probably running the highest line right now. But as the days continue to go on here, sun continuing to get more and more further set in the west. You have seen these guys shift further and further down the track, which, I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense, right? Hotter track, it's going to be slippery. You got to stay in that top line so you can carry more momentum. But as the track temp continues to cool down, picks up more grip, and all of a sudden that bottom line starts to become a very, very useful lane to work. And track temp now down to 92. And it is 5 o'clock sim time. This race might finish closer to 6 o'clock sim time. And if we get a late restart, I'm telling you, that bottom line could be the play. Beverly still in second, but it just seems like he's still trying to stay kind of relaxed about the way he's going at it. He said he was going to have to save some tire at the beginning of this thing. 187 top speed that we've seen so far here tonight. That also has to do with the cooling track temp. Reminder that the next place the NOMA Series in general heads is going to be for the NOMA Super Speedway Series this Monday. That is going to be broadcasted by none other than Richard Hurst, one of the drivers racing the field tonight on NOMA TV. Make sure you go check it out. Super Speedway Series, always a good one to watch. Exciting. You get to see a new winner a lot of the weeks, or at least somebody with a chance at it every week. Oh, Jay Stinson, he tagged the wall on the outside of turn 4. We've seen a lot of guys getting little stripes here. So Redinger, for the first time tonight that we've seen this from just about anybody, has his lead up to about a half a second lead over Mark Beverly. And you can see Redinger has started really working the bottom. Beverly has followed. Beverly said that he felt like the bottom had found some speed on older tires, but they seem to have found some speed with it on newer tires. And once we hit 25 laps, that's where I think it starts to creep in your mind that, hey, it might be go time, but you got to stay patient. 2-mile track, 25 laps is still a pretty long ways to go, 50 miles in fact, so you don't have to rush it here. You got to try to stay patient, take your time. And Beverly's definitely not going to let Redinger run away for the rest of the stage. Starting to creep back up a little bit now at 3/10. Here's Robert Gray, Richard Hurst, he's working the top line. William George just behind him. And as we are on 71 laps, I'll tell you what, before things get too chaotic, too crazy, let's go take a look at some of the announcements. Well, not really announcements, just one thing that we got to go over. Our advertisement for the next place that we head here, that I had here on Ghost Racing Network, and that is on Monday to the Irish Hills of Michigan for the Michigan 200 for the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. We saw an excellent race last week. We're going to see another fabulous one this week. Michigan, one of my favorite tracks. Racing going to be similar to what we saw here so far at Auto Club tonight. Make sure you don't miss out. It's going to be a good one. Then, of course, Tuesday Night Thunder on Tuesday and the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series. That's going to be a good one as well. And actually, Monday being the next post we have, but the next place that I had, and I had forgot about this because it's the first race that I'm broadcasting for them, NSRA Championship race tomorrow. I believe there's over $800 worth of prizes going to be going out. The championship race is at Talladega in the Xfinity Series. And if you want to see some of the best when it comes to super speedway racing, you're going to find them over there. Make sure you go check it out. Back on track here at Auto Club, 73 laps completed. Kenneth Redinger has led the most, but Mark Beverly has been right there with him for most of them. Justin Parham takes another position away. Looks like he has changed his strategy around. He had saved a little bit of tire on the start of this run, and now he picks off that position from Robert Gray, who falls to 4th. How about the night, though, so far for Robert Gray? Up 26 positions from where he started. One of the Twin Motorsports drivers, Richard Hurst, been having another great night, trying to follow up the win he had in Daytona with a top 5 if he can finish it off where he stands. William George in 6th. Robert Dudley back in 7th. It's going to be Philip Willis in 8th. Matthew Fritz in 9th. Jay Stinson rounding out your top 10 currently. Matthew Dyer looking just outside the top 10 in 11th. Blaze Richardson, one of the Trackside Motorsports drivers, he finds himself in 12th. Sam Boutwell 13th. Stephen Hines in 14th. Billy Davidson 15th. Joey Hickok 16th. James Scamordella in 18th as he loses that position to the 7 of Grant Turner, who now moves up to 17th. He was having a good night. Not sure where it all went wrong for Grant, but yeah, he is back in 18th now. Trace Greer in 20th. Haas Beverly 21st. Riley Gomes 22nd. Alex Gray in 23rd. Guy Bracco 24th. John Bell back in 25th. John Lynch struggled for one of the SPINO Racing drivers tonight, down 4 spots from where he started, currently sitting in 26th. How about Ron Fenton in 27th, Robert Morrison in 28th. Keith Prince still, I believe he's either 1 or 2 laps down, 29th position, and then Albert Hewins and Jeff Carl, the 2 drivers that have unfortunately retired from the race tonight. And yep, sure enough, Keith Prince still 2 laps down, gonna need a couple cautions. Looking at the track map, the whole field is within a half track's lengths of each other. Half track lengths of each other. Try saying that fast. And that means that these leaders are probably not going to have to worry about running into any traffic before this race is over. I think the only thing that you worry about from here is how do you change your strategy if we get a caution. But even then, I don't think it's that complicated. If we get a caution at this point with as many laps as we have now ran here in Stage 3, I think you have to come in, take a set of tires. But if we do get a caution, I don't think there's going to be much more tire saving from this point. I think it's going to be a sprint to the finish. Right now, guys still saving tires. You can tell they're getting a little bit antsy. Mark Beverly may be thinking about starting to slowly creep back up. Don't think he's ready to make his move yet, but you know Justin Parham is going to think about making a move on the 13 truck. And just as I say it, speaking into existence, caution is out. Looking for what happened here. Don't see anybody with any trouble. Yeah, not sure. Grant Turner, maybe? Looks like he may have had an issue here. Oh, yeah, sure enough, slow on the front stretch. Going to be the 6th caution of the night with 24 laps to go. Yeah, he does have some damage to the right side, so he has hit something. I'll tell you what, this is going to make for a crazy final 20 laps or so. I am very, very excited for what we're about to see. But before we do see it, let's go back, take a look at what brought out the caution. And, oh, there's contact there. That's James Scamordella. Did he get up into the outside wall here earlier? Yeah, it looks like he's going to. Let's take a look at this from the blimp cam. And that is definitely not the view I'd like to see. So we're going to go to the chopper for it. And watch James on the outside. You see him in the shadows now. The billboard's just coming out of it. Just gets loose, almost up to the outside wall. Was able to stay out of it. But then as he's coming back down, it looks like Grant Turner at the same time was getting tight. And one of them was coming up. One of them was coming down. And they make some contact. 79 was able to hang on, but the 7 goes for a slide. So he didn't hit the wall. That right side damage is going to all be from the contact with the 79. And he was able to get it corrected and back the right direction just before pit road, so he doesn't have to worry about serving any sort of penalty. A couple more looks at it. Harmless spin, no harm, no foul for either driver. Nobody's going to need a fast repair from that one. And here they all come for those fresh tires. Can't be too surprised about it. Kenneth Rittinger, you know, we'll go ahead and hold that off until we see who wins the race out of the pits here. Steven Hins in the 2 truck. Ooh, misses his box just a little bit. That's going to cost him. He's going to have to back up. Going to lose a couple positions here on the race out of the pits. Well, you got 2 Grandstand Racing teammates. Everybody that came down is taking 4 tires. We'll see if anybody decided to stay out or play any strategy. Doesn't look like it. Oh, almost some contact there between the 2 teammates. Redinger, though, did he beat Parham out? No, he didn't. How about that? Parham is going to take the lead at a very crucial time to do so. Redinger comes out 2nd. The good news is that at least the Grandstand Racing teammates came out 1-2. Mark Beverly back to 3rd. Richard Hurst in 4th. Robert Gray in 5th, Philip Willis 6th, William George 7th, Matthew Fritz 8th, Robert Dudley 9th, and Matthew Dyer rounding out your top 10. Looks like we're going to go green with 20 to go. Let's see if we can get an interview here with Richard Hurst to see what his thoughts are on the rest of this race and how he's feeling about his chances. Hey, Richard, this is Austin out of the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, well, you won last week at Daytona. Having a great run here tonight. Been in the top 5 for most of it. I tell you what, though, this is where things sometimes get a little crazy. 20 to go. The whole field is on fresh tires. How you feeling about your chances right here?
I'm feeling pretty good. It looks like the high line and low line, you know, the high line was a little bit faster, but it looks like the low line is going to be the line to take now. It's just going to be one of those things where we're just going to have to save as much tire till the end and then try to make some moves. I know a lot of people are going to be going hard.
Well, speaking of saving the tire, only 20 laps to go. It seemed like in stage 2, we saw guys do about half and half, save half and then race half. What's your strategy for it? How long do you save before you really just go?
Oh, well, if it's going to be harder, I'm just going to go. I could still have 2 sets of tires. You know, I still got my fast repair, so we're just going to put the pedal to the metal and see what happens.
All right, I'm excited to see it. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see if you can somehow make it a back-to-back start to the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Richard Hurst, hey, he said he's going to go, and you know what? I think he brings up that split strategy that we could see here. Maybe a couple of these guys think about saving tire, and a couple other them think, you know what? Forget that. I'm going to the front. If my tires hold on, great. If not, well, at least they gave it a good shot, and, of course, if we get a caution, you can go ahead and take another set. Might as well if you got them to burn. You certainly don't want to leave here with any extra tires. All right, Pace Truck's going to pull off. Indeed, 20 laps to go. Redinger and his teammate Parham, row 1. Beverly and Hurst, row 2. Green flag is back in the air. Pretty good start for Justin Parham. He's going to get clear of his teammate. Drops down to give him a little bit of extra draft. Back to the top they both go, jumping right in front of Richard Hurst. Beverly did not get the restart he wanted. That's going to cause him to lose a couple positions, but get ready. This is going to get wild here. Everybody is going to fan out now. It is go time. Looking towards the back. 2 wide. Nobody's really gotten 3 wide just yet. Jay Stinson drafted his teammate Joey Hickox. Those two looking to get by Matthew Dyer along with the 18 of Blaze Richardson. And up front, the 24 of Redinger is looking to the inside of his teammate. They are not going to try to pull away from the field at all. They're wanting to go to battle here early. They're going to stay side by side. Remember, the harder they battle, the easier it's going to be for these other trucks to catch them. Here comes Richard Hurst in the 76. He's got to run, nothing to look at yet, but which lane does he go with here? I know the bottom seems to be preferred, but I'm telling you, at this point, if I see those two at the bottom, oh, Justin Parham gets really out of shape. That's going to allow Richard Hurst to jump to his outside. The 76, does he get clear down here into turn 3? He does. Parham's going to have to try to jump back in line, but he's going to stay low to defend the inside. Just like that, Kenneth is your new leader, but now Richard Hurst is challenging for the lead. Meanwhile, back here, you still got to scramble for 5th on back. These guys are going to single file out, so we'll look a little bit further back. Matthew Fritz going to the inside with Sam Boutwell. The 49 truck just in front of both of them. That's Robert Dudley. Joey Hickox and Jay Stinson. Those two battling for the 13th position. Joey going to dive it in. He's going to be able to hold it off. There's the 5 of John Bell battling with the 9 of Riley Gomes. And I'll tell you what, I'm surprised at how quick everybody actually did get single filed out this time. We're going to be coming to 17 laps to go. Richard Hurst still working the top line. Oh, did Justin Parham maybe tag the wall a little bit right there? I think he did as Mark Beverly gets clear. Now the 44 truck of Philip Willis looking to the inside. First time that we've really talked about Philip getting up here in the top 5 tonight. Team Dudley Racing has shown some strength. 2 of their drivers could finish in the top 5 here if the 49 and the 44 can get in front of the 19. Sam Boutwell along with the 33 of Robert Gray, they're all creeping into the picture. And did Richard Hurst maybe slip up a little bit here? Redinger is starting to pull away. You got to wonder, is Redinger maybe just trying to push the issue here, not worrying about saving any tire, but just going? Hurst continues to work the top line, and he's getting momentum on the straightaways, but it just seems like the bottom is the place to be. The track temp had continued to cool. It is now under 90 degrees, 88. That is an extremely cool track temp for these guys to be racing on. And it just continues to make that bottom more and more dominant. Richard continuing to hold on. Whose tires are going to give first? 16 laps to go at the line. We're going to take one more quick side-by-side break before we stay here and stay green to the finish, as out back, looks like that might have been Joey Hickox that got loose. His teammate Jay Stinson's going to go by. Either way, we'll be right back. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing. Back live at Auto Club, 13 laps to go. Kenneth Redinger out in the lead.
and he is trying everything to pull away. Richard Hurst and Mark Beverly started battling. Beverly couldn't get by, and now all of a sudden Justin Parham has popped back into the picture. Oh man, he got clear the 13, but not by much. Slammed the door. Mark Beverly didn't like that. He said, all right, I'll go ahead and go down lane lower. Unfortunately, the run's just not there. He's going to have to tuck in line. And Richard Hurst just doesn't seem like he quite has the truck to catch Redinger, at least not running that top line. Continues to give it his best shot, though, and Beverly and Parham know that they've got to get by the 76 as soon as possible if they want a chance at catching Redinger. The gap up to about 0.7 of a second. Parham's going to try to get clear. I think if you're Mark Beverly here, maybe you try to work together with the 19. You got to get him clear here. Just behind these guys, some 3-wide racing going on. There's the 40 of Chase Greer going by the 18 of Blaze Richardson. Out back, James Scamordella has had a handful quite a few times here in the last 10 laps or so. Sam Boutwell, ooh, he got tight. Got to be careful here. Robert Gray jumps to the outside. That was almost some contact. My goodness. Nancy Hickok says, okay, it's go time. Good luck, Hickox Racing and Spino Racing. And then she says, race smart, Richard Hurst, and have fun. Well, I'm having fun up here in the booth watching these guys. They've got to be having some fun down there racing it right now. And if you're Kenneth Redinger, you're having the most fun because you are leading the way with only 11 laps to go. But he knows now that the 19 and the 13 have got clear of the 76, they are going to make a charge. I think right now, if you're Kenneth, you have got to think about saving a little bit of tire right here. You've got all that time to play with. You know the two guys behind you are going to be pushing as hard as they can to get to you. All going to see what strategy he has planned out. His bed's made now. Whatever strategy he's made, I think he's got to stick to. 10 laps to go. Justin Parham, the gap, 0.7 of a second. He's still within draft range. And he's going to run the low line to try to catch his teammate. And if he does catch his teammate, how aggressive does he decide to be with him? Mark Beverly, I think he's going to be able to follow the 19 up. And these two working together is going to be their best shot at catching the leader. Richard Hurst trying to stay close, but unfortunately, I think Richard maybe just used his tires up a little too much. Yeah, you can see he's getting tight to the middle of the corner. These guys pulling away a little bit in the center. Yeah, not really much the 76 is going to be able to do at this point besides try to hold on and keep as many positions as he can. It's the lap time comparison for your leader versus his teammate Justin Parham. Looks like Redinger has actually been a little bit slower the last 4 out of 5 laps, but they just don't seem to be catching that quick. It's just a matter of, do they have enough time? They got it down to almost 0.6. The closer they get to, the stronger that draft is going to get. Mark Beverly starting to fall out of touch a little bit now with Justin Parham's back bumper. Meanwhile, they're two looking 3 wide behind the 44. Philip Willis, he's now looking to the inside of Richard Hurst. This is for 4th position. Biggest mover inside the top 10, though, is still Robert Gray. He is in 7th, up 23 from where he started. Caution. Caution is out. It's for John Lynch. The 90 truck has spun around on the entrance to turn 1. And I have got to believe that that is not what Kenneth Redinger wanted to see. But that is a huge break for Richard Hurst, who had, I would say, used everything that those tires had left. Oh boy, just when you think you know what's going to happen, you get a screw thrown into the mix. Maybe I should say a screw thrown into, or bolt thrown into the screws. Here we go, down the front straightaway. Chase Greer and the 47 Sam Boutwell get hooked together. John Lynch goes to the inside to avoid it, and Sam Boutwell still trying to gather it. Goes to the inside, that collects the 90 truck, turning him into the outside wall. Let's go back, see if we can get a look at that contact between the 47 and the 40. And see if we can figure out who exactly was at fault here. Ooh, I like this view a lot. I think this is going to show pretty good idea. There's the 40 to the outside. Oh man, it's hard to say on whether or not it was slight net code or if just slight contact from the 40 truck here. Watch Sam Boutwell. So it looks like the 40 sees he's leaving it open up top, so he's going to try to take it, and They just kind of get together. John Lynch dives low, but when Sam Boutwell's coming out from that outside wall, sometimes the truck hooks like that and dives right down into John Lynch, who just had absolutely nowhere to go, nothing he could do. And let's take a couple more views of it here. And that's a decent hit to the front end. Not sure if it's enough for the fast repair or not. This late in the race, though, I think if you have it, you might as well go ahead and take it. You don't want to have a slow truck for this crazy restart where track position is going to be everything. Final view of it here. This is on board for John Lynch. And that is always frustrating as a driver. You see an incident like that, you feel like you drove by it, and then out of nowhere, you're facing the inside wall. All right, so it's not going to be an overtime restart here, but we have some strategy getting thrown into the mix. Man, this is going to be absolutely crazy. William George wins the race out of pit road. Kenneth Rittinger second, Jay Stinson third, Mark Beverly fourth. This is in the battle of pit road, that is. Let's go by the track position results. Riley Gomes currently sitting in first, up 15 from where he started. Ron Fenton in second, up 25 from where he started. William George third, Kenneth Rittinger in fourth. Jay Stinson up 9 from where he started, rounding out your top 5. Mark Beverly 6th. Justin Parham 7th. Richard Hurst 8th. Philip Willis 9th. And Robert Gray up 20 from where he started, rounding out your top 10. So we have a ton of mixed strategy. It's going to be going into this final restart. Well, hopefully final restart. And it looks like we're going to go green here with 4 laps to go. That's, in my book, that's enough time for these new tires to make a charge to the front. And I think this is just going to be a battle of who can work their way, the new tires, that is, who of the new tires can work their way through the old tires the best. And I think if you're on old tires here, your best bet is seeing a caution pretty much as soon as we go green so that it sends us into overtime. And that's less laps that you have to run on those old tires. But I just think that new tires mean too much here for those old tires to really have any chance. I mean, maybe here with 4 laps to go, you don't fall too many positions, but this is going to be extremely racy, that is for sure. Looking at it, track temp now down to 86, just continues to cool as it is almost 6 o'clock now in sim time. Weather outside, of course, 72 degrees. Auto Club has not disappointed, and now tire saving, absolutely not even a question. We are not going to be, these tires, you are going to, the goal here is probably to try to burn them up more than it is to save them. With only 4 laps to go, you can go just about flat out around this whole track the rest of the way. And that is what all guys on new tires can be doing. Now, if you're on old tires, it's a different story. It's probably going to be a struggle here. We'll have to see how long they can all hold out. Riley Gomes and Ron Fenton, William George and Jay Stinson. Those are the guys to keep an eye on, maybe on some strategy. Spino Racing says that one hurt. Yeah, it certainly looked like it. Ansi says, yes, it did. Hopefully your teammate will get a good finish and keep you high in points. Yeah, you got to wonder if Richard Hurst makes an adjustment here, right? In the sense of, I don't think the top line has the speed anymore. It did at the beginning of the race, but that's what's been so cool about tonight is that there's been a complete shift. Started on the top, started to move a little bit more towards the middle, and now it's the bottom. But at the same time, on new tires here, who knows? Maybe we will see guys back fast on the top. We're about to find out. Pace Truck pulls down. 4 laps to go to decide who's going to go to victory lane in Hollywood. Green flag is back in the air. The NOMA Truck gets a good jump. Riley Gomes out to a big lead, but a big stack up on the outside. That's going to hurt Kenneth. Oh, he's going to get turned into his teammate. Yellow flag's out. This is going to be the big one. They are all piling up. Oh my goodness, it is a parking lot down into turn 1. Holy moly, this collects everybody. Did not see that one coming, and that is a tough break for probably 3, if not more, of the favorites here tonight. And this is going to send us into overtime. Oh, and we're still wrecking. Under caution, Robert Gray and the 98 get together. That's Jeff Carl. That was an absolute mess. Let's go take a look. This is all going to start up front, and this starts with a guy that's on old tires not getting a good restart, and the field just trying to react to it. Let's go to Kenneth Rittinger here. And, you know, if you're Kenneth, I got to be honest, he doesn't really have a choice here. He's got to take it 3 wide. Maybe he thinks about taking it to the top, though, but he likes the idea of going to the middle. Now, watch the initial start here. The 13 just does not get going. Not sure if it's the old tires or he misses a gear or both, but there's the jump from the 9. The 13 just does not get going. He gets high, and then he comes back down low, and they're just stacking up. Kenneth realizes that, says, I got to get low, but when he drops low here, he makes some contact with his teammate, and that's where it's going to really cost him. Let's see if we can look from a different angle here. Yeah, watch. He's going to get down and, yeah, just makes some slight contact with Justin Parham. You got to wonder, was Justin getting ready to take Jason 3 wide? Or, excuse me, Jay. I don't think he was. But, yeah, they make some contact with each other. That sends the 19 of Parham and the 24 up into the 13. And then they're going to spin around. Looks like Kenneth was able to get through relatively unscathed and then gets collected right there. And then the amount of guys that piled in after was just absurd to me. Joey Hickox was involved. I mean, look at the amount of trucks. Had guys everywhere. Let's take a couple more views. And they chose probably the worst area that you could pick to pile up. It was right where that pit road wall darts out the farthest onto the track, so you really couldn't dive low and you couldn't go high. The whole track was clogged up. One more look at it. And there they all go. Oh man, someone took a huge hit. I couldn't tell if that was the 13 or the 44 on the inside wall. The 33 of Robert Gray. He gets a shot, sends him up into the air. So out front, kind of worked out for Riley Gomes. I said this is one of those things where he would need a caution pretty much right away, and he got one. So we'll see how this helps his strategy. William George up to second, though now. Jay Stinson in third. Justin Parham, not sure how bad the damage is. You can definitely see some, though, on the back and on the left side. Did technically have the freshest tires. Matthew Fritz just behind him, rounding out the top 5. There's Haas Beverly in the 13 truck. Excuse me, the 12 truck. Haas Beverly in the 12 truck is what I meant to say. In 6th, Sam Boutwell 7th. Robert Morrison 8th. Chase Greer in 9th. And John Lynch, after all that, worked out well for him because now he's back inside the top 10. And I'll tell you what, the overtime rules, we know how they work, but if you don't, go ahead and explain them again. 2-lap shootout here to decide a winner. If we get a caution on that first lap, then we will rack them up and try it again. However, if we take the white flag, this race will be official. And if Riley Gomes could hold off the field here, that would be a pretty incredible feat to do. Don't know if he's going to be able to hold off all the charging new tires. And I think William George will be able to get a better restart. Of course, he is not on as old of tires as what we saw on that last restart. And we'll see if he can hang with the 9 of Riley Gomes here on this restart. Had a couple cautions earlier on in the race through the first stage. Went green all of stage 2. And we've had, I'd say, a few more cautions here in stage 3. But again, what can you expect when the racing's as tight as it's been here so far tonight at Auto Club? And I'm telling you, every single one of these guys just about in the top 10. A win here would be huge for them. William George, Riley Gomes especially, who are lined up that front row. Jay Stinson came in with really no practice here tonight. How cool would that be if he could find himself in victory lane? Justin Parham would like to get off to a hot start for Grandstand Racing. Kenneth Rittinger, I know he's far back, but you can't count him out. Who knows? He might find a way to get back up here. We will keep a close eye on it. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. 2 laps to go at Auto Club. This time it's a little bit more of an even jump, but the 9 of Riley Gomes still able to get out to a lead. They're going to fan out already. 3 wide. We got a couple guys going to the top, and we're going to wreck out back. Had one into the outside wall. And this is surely going to bring out a caution. One back up the track. That's Robert Gray. Richard Hurst. Nowhere to go. Looks like, and we had another truck involved in that. That's the 44 of Philip Willis. And we are going to head into our second of 3 overtimes here. And I'll tell you what, sometimes as a broadcaster, I like to give my honest opinion, and this is one of those where kind of frustrates me a little bit when we get in these. We have a great race as we had all here tonight, and guys start to just try to do a little bit too much, is how I would call it at the end of these. We start to make moves that aren't really aren't really smart moves at the time, and things like this start to happen, but I didn't exactly notice what happened here, so I'll hold my tongue until we see exactly what happened. This was the last wreck. We got to go to the most recent one. And let's see what happens here. Caution flew pretty late. And looking at where exactly it starts, it's going to be closer to the front. Couldn't tell who the first one to go spinning was, though. So we're going to back this up even further right here. I think it's going to be back there towards Robert E. Morrison, maybe a little further. Okay. Looks like it's going to be... Let's go back to Robert E. Morrison, actually. Try to find out who this one is. Sometimes wrecks, even though you can see them, just seems so much harder to break down. You can't figure out exactly who was involved. Robert Morrison, by the way, is having a great run late into going right here. And it looks like it's going to be the 7 of Grant Turner. That's who it was that pulls out first in line. And let's look at the blimp cam. Does he come down on Matthew Dyer? Looks like he does. Yeah, it looks like maybe he does come down. I couldn't tell if it was netcode or contact, but it looks like the 7 was coming down. Either way, once they get together, the 28 hooked into the outside wall. There goes Robert Gray to the grass. No caution came out here. The 33 absolutely clobbered the inside wall. That sent him back up onto the track. I mean, that was an absurd hit. Watch this on the bottom for Robert Gray. This is going to hurt. Boom. Shoots him back up the track. This one's going to hurt a little more. T-boned by the 44, who had just had nowhere to go. But looking back on the initial thing that sparks it, Grant Turner here, I think he was coming down from the initial view. Let's see if this one shows any better. Yeah, from that view, it certainly looks like the 7's coming off the wall. But at the same time, it looks like there was some netcode. See if the chopper shows us anything better. We certainly see netcode as an issue quite a bit of times, and it's close. I think it looks like maybe there was a slight bit of netcode, and then that netcode turned the 28 up just enough where when the 7 was there, it hooked him. And a couple guys just barely snuck through that incident. All right, so back up front. Talked about going to be our second overtime. Already got the 1 to go signal. Riley Gomes still leading the way. Jay Stinson, though, up to second now. William George third. Matthew Fritz in fourth. And Sam Boutwell rounding out your top 5. Nancy says, so Austin, does every track have what they call the big one? I watched several races this week with no cautions. They do not, Nancy. It depends on the track. In fact, to be honest, and if I stated it tonight, then I was probably just using it as a busy chatter. But no, Auto Club is not necessarily a track where you would expect a big one. However, tonight we certainly did have the big one, and that wreck right there. Now, whenever you head to a super speedway, you pretty much expect that there is going to be the big one at some point sooner or later. We saw it at Daytona. It's just kind of one of those things you expect. But no, there's plenty of tracks, a lot of 1.5 mile short tracks. You don't necessarily expect to see the big one. I would say that rule is pretty much applied to super speedways, and then it just applies in the sense of sometimes you do see it at non-super speedways, and when you see it, you'll say, hey, that's going to be the big one here tonight. At a race like this, you're probably only going to see one big one, though, if you do get to see it. And that seems to be all we saw tonight. All right, we'll have one more overtime if we can't get it done in this one, but hopefully we can. Track temp down to 83 now as we have approached 6:20 here sim time. Pace truck's going to pull off. Jay Stinson, he's got a chance to go to victory lane for the first time this season tonight. So does Riley Gomes, who gets another good jump. He's going to get clear of the first 2 rows. Can everybody keep it clean this time? It looked like a lot better start. The 9 truck's going to hop up top. Meanwhile, in row 2, they're going to stay side by side down into row 1. Riley Gomes is going to have to do everything in his power to hold off Jay Stinson. The bottom with the fresher tires. There goes William George. Jay Stinson, nothing he can do. He got held up. Now he's going to go down. He hits John Lynch. Is this going to turn into another wreck? John Lynch down on the apron. He saves. He's got to come back up, though. And they are 4 wide. My goodness, can they sort it out before they get to the turn? Lynch is trying. He's trying. And he got bullied, and they're wrecking out back. So we are going to head to a third green-white checkered. It's Kenneth Redinger And man, now we run into the risk of potentially ending what had been the best race of the season up to this point under caution. Hoping that's not the case, but you see there's what, well, I guess you can't see as we pull it up in sim. There you go. 3 green, white checkers. And this is going to be number 3 of 3. So if we get another spin, unfortunately this race could end under caution, but let's go back and take a look. This was in the back. Boy, John Lynch, I don't know how he was able to sort out the chaos that he had been going through. And these guys were also 4 wide. No, they were 5 wide. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. 5 wide. How often do you see that? Not for long here. Actually, no, they stay 5 wide. I take that back, and they just run out of room. John Bell makes slight contact with 18. That bounces him back down to Kenneth Redinger, who gets turned up into the outside wall. Yeah, 4 wide seems to work here at Auto Club, and we can now confirm 5 wide does not. And Kenneth Redinger, I believe he might have a fast pair still, but yeah, that's going to hurt him for sure. Take one more final view of it here. See, I'll take 2 more views of it here. First from the static cam, then from Kenneth's onboard. Here we go. Yeah, it takes the front end off, blows the motor. Gonna be a fast pair for Kenneth, no doubt about it. Nancy says, hey Bryce, how's it going? Bryce says, having to design merch for the stores, so I'm always busy. College starts back on the 10th. Hey, go check out the merch. I'll tell you what, I like that Printful. I just made myself a shirt on there today. Bryce found probably the cheapest merch thing that you can do. Good stuff with that. And got myself a t-shirt today. You should get yourself a Ghost Racing Network t-shirt. Mine, I think the one I made only cost like $15, so they're not too bad. I'll tell you what, them Gildan extra larges, those are some comfy t-shirts, man. That's a good thing to wear during the broadcast. I'll tell you what, Nancy says, good luck with school, and I'm so glad that y'all are doing so well with Ghost Racing Network. Nancy, we certainly appreciate it. Bryce working hard on the merch side, and he always loves the extra support. Matthew Fritz, all of a sudden, finds himself in the lead. William George second, Sam Batwell third, Riley Gomes fourth, Mark Beverly in fifth. And Matthew Fritz, let's see if we can pull him up here because he finds himself in a position to break a drought here and potentially get his first win of the season. Hey Matthew, this is all set in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, things have gotten really, really chaotic and crazy here in these overtimes. But through it all, you find yourself in the lead here on what's going to be the final green-white checkered. How are you feeling about your chances?
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous, but we're going to try to bring it home. Try to get a good lead. And, you know, if they wreck behind me, it's over. So hopefully they wreck.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe you're on 4 tires. I think William George might only be on 2. Do you try to stick to the bottom here or the top? What's the play?
I think I'm going to try the bottom and just hopefully I can clear him and then go to the top.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. The Manny Rays Mafia is out here rooting for you tonight, and they are going to be pumped if you can find yourself in victory lane here in a couple laps. Good luck. We'll see if you can get the job done.
All right, thank you very much.
Man, this race has pretty much turned upside down at this point. The guys that you thought would be the favorites early on are all of a sudden no longer the favorites. Guys that you didn't see up here much tonight, I take that back. They were up here, but that you didn't maybe see in the top 3 too much tonight, they're up here fighting for the lead. We are going to determine a winner on this restart because it will be official whether we get a caution or not. But certainly would like to see this thing end under green. All we got to do is make it 1 lap around to take the white, and it'll be official. We won't have to worry about a caution. Oh, man. We've been seeing guys risking to go 5 wide looking for track position, so anything could happen right here. Fritz and George, row 1. Boutwell and Gomes, row 2. Don't count out row 3 even. Beverly and Morrison, what can they do? Beverly was one of the fastest trucks all night. Does he have enough left to make move here at the end? Green flag is back in the air officially for the final time here at Auto Club. Good start for Matthew Fritz. A little bit of a checkup for row 3 on back. That's going to put John Lynch in the middle. They're going to fan out 4, 5 wide now. They're going to try to sort it all out before we get down to the turn. Keith stuck in the middle, so is John Lynch. There's the 12. Looks like they all finally do get things worked out. Meanwhile, up front, here comes Sam Boutwell on the bottom. He is to the inside of Matthew Fritz. Fritz is able to get clear down the backstretch. They are 3 and 4 wide now, further back. Mark Beverly's going to dive to the inside. He knows he's got to make a move happen now. Unfortunately, it's not going to stick. Here comes Matthew Fritz out of turn 4. He sees the white flag in the air. Caution's out. Race is over. Matthew Fritz wins it at Auto Club. They're wrecking out back. And that means the 29 of Matthew Fritz is going to come home a winner under caution. How about it? First win of the season. And he was probably pretty happy to see that caution because I think Sam Boutwell was coming with the charge. Boutwell finishes second, and Beverly rounds out your top 3. Let's take a look at what brings out that final caution here that's going to go ahead and end the race. I think it was just guys getting really aggressive. It was back here with Jay Stinson, a couple other guys. You hate to see a race have to end that way, but just the nature of the beast with how aggressive things had got here at the end. Taking a look from the blimp cam, they were 4 trying to get 5 wide right here, and once they get 4 wide, some contact. Jay gets loose. Looks like the 88 makes some contact. That sends Jay around, and that's what brings your caution out. And they weren't done wrecking there. They wrecked some more up here. The 49, the 76, the 12, they get together after the caution had flew. More insult to injury as that might have ruined those guys' potential finishes. Just like that, checkered flag is in the air for Matthew Fritz. He is your official winner at Auto Club. And I don't think we'll do an extra lap here. I'm surprised that the pace car, no, the pace car won't pull off yet. It'll actually pull off next time. But that is the race. Matthew Fritz going to come down after gets a couple congratulatory bumps. First win of the season, 2 for Hickox Racing. And the Manny Rays scheme gets the job done as well. How about that? We are going to have interviews from your top 3 and more when we get back. Stick with us. Back live at Auto Club as Matthew Fritz burns down the house. We're going to start with your 3rd place finisher, Mark Beverly. Mark, this is all set up for the booth. You got a copy? Well, hold on. Let me make sure I get you unmuted here. Well, it was a great run overall for you tonight, but unfortunately, things got chaotic there at the end. What do you feel like kept you out of a chance of winning this thing?
Too many cautions here at the end, that's for sure. I feel like if we didn't have that last one too on the last green white checker here, I might have had a chance. I'd have had a pretty good run coming out of 4 on the last lap, but it is what it is. P3 after all that calamity is cool for me. So
a great run tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to you, put on the broadcast. Admins here, any sponsors, and shout out to my teammates Haas and Keith. So we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks for talking to us. That moves us on to your 2nd place finisher now, Sam Boutwell. Sam, this is all set up to the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha, Austin.
Well, great run at the end. Things had got chaotic, but through all the chaos, how did you manage to find yourself up inside the podium and get into 2nd?
A lot of luck and holding it steady and gambling with the damage, thinking I could still launch with it, which proved to be true. And somehow in those last 2 restarts, I was able to make it stick on the bottom lane all the way off of 2, and they helped me get 3 wide side by side for the lead on the next to last, and side by side with Fritz on the last one, which I knew I was damaged, so the best thing I could do is fall in behind him and defend. And I'm kind of lucky that the race ended under caution, considering I ran out of gas as soon as we crossed the finish line.
Wow, did not realize that. That's That's even more incredible to feel about it. Hey, you're on a new team this year. We know Wally. Next week we head to Nashville Super Speedway. How is this second place finish going to help carry momentum for you and the team into next week?
Oh, the team is ecstatic. It's a bunch of rookies and me, and they're all pumped about it. They're excited. We're hoping to be able to use this to help get all of us good runs next week, and it means we got to practice actually instead of just showing up.
All right. Before we let you go here tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
I just want to thank all the Wally boys, Alex, Dresden. I know Mike hadn't made a start with us yet, but he will be later. And I just want to thank them for all the help that they give us.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Sam, and congrats on the second place finish tonight.
Thank you.
Brings us to your winner, the man in victory lane tonight, Matthew Fritz. Matthew, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, first win of the season, and I got to ask you on lap 50, did you think you'd find yourself in victory lane tonight?
No. I really screwed up pit road. I had my tires unchecked, and then I blew through my pit box, and everything you could think of went bad on that stop.
Well, I got to ask, we started to have, well, maybe I shouldn't say I got to ask, but I want to ask that when we started having the late cautions, you started slowly working your way up there. Now, that last restart we had, we heard you say you wouldn't mind a caution. Sam was looking tough on the bottom. What were you thinking there just before the caution flew?
I was thinking it was going to be a heck of a battle coming to the end, so I was actually glad to see it. I think I still could have gotten it, but, a win's a win.
Certainly is. Well, we saw how dominant Hickox Racing was. You and Grandstand Racing, you guys were the two top teams, I would have to argue, last year, especially when it came to the playoffs. Starting off early, getting the first win of the season for your team tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I got to thank Manny Rays and my teammates, Jay, Joey, and Albert. They helped me out so much. And shout out to the Manny Rays Mafia out there. And I know Nancy's watching. She's a big supporter. And my mom's watching, so I want to thank her for watching, and thank you for broadcasting.
Well, thank you for talking to us. And one more time, congrats on the win tonight, man. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
Matthew Fritz, your winner here at Auto Club. Second place is going to be Sam Boutwell. Mark Beverly finishes in third. William George in fourth. Chase Greer in fifth. Joey Hickok, sixth. Riley Gomes, seventh. Robert Morrison finishes in eighth. James Scamordella in 9th, Justin Parham 10th, John Lynch 11th, Keith Prince 12th, Grant Turner in 13th, Robert Dudley 14th, Alex Gray in 15th, Richard Hurst in 16th, Billy Davis in 17th, Stephen Hins in 18th, Ron Fenton 19th, John Bell 20th, Haas Beverly 21st, Blaze Richardson 22nd, Jay Stinson 23rd, Kenneth Redinger in 24th, Matthew Dyer 25th, Robert Gray, 26th. Philip Willison, 27th. Guy Bracco, 28th. Tyler Dudley, 29th. Jeff Carl, and 30th. Last truck of the field tonight is going to be Albert Hewins, rounding out your top 31 trucks tonight. Big thank you again, everyone coming out. Raymond Daniels is excited about Matthew Fritz getting the win. So is Nancy Hickox. Yes, congrats, Matthew. Your car is the winner tonight. I hope everybody did enjoy. Final time here that I'm going to say it, I guess. But, the racing was great up until the final overtimes that we had. Things got really messy then. Not a big fan of that. I hate to see races end under caution, especially with how good the racing had been here at Auto Club tonight. But definitely did not disappoint. I forgot if we head back here later in the season or not. If we do, I think it's going to be another great race. Next season on to Nashville Super Speedway. Don't miss out. And tomorrow night, don't miss out on the NSRA Championship. Till next